Okay, let's start. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. So last meeting, we have discussed about general introduction to AI, and also today. Okay, so still in the first slide. Okay, let me share my slide for you. And I think we have discussed the Industry 5.0 and what is thinking, narrow and general AI, singularity. Okay, what is the narrow AI examples? Okay, so a little bit look at the history of AI. Okay, so in 1943, there is a Boolean circuit model. This is the real circuit, meaning electronic devices that still use the bulb. Okay, and they created the early neural network. So this is called McCulloch and Pitt model. And then during the war, one of the computer science hero is called Alan Turing, and Turing published Computing Machinery and Intelligence in 1950s. Okay, 1956 was the beginning of what is called artificial intelligence, based on one conference in Dartmouth. Right, and because several prominent members of artificial intelligence group, okay, so then they start to see, look, no hand, meaning that there is hype, okay, overhype on what is AI at that point. And the AI early program was like booming. Okay, so these are the example of program that made in 1950s. Yeah? The Samuel checker program, so it came to play checker. Okay? And Newell and Simon create what is called logic theories, as well as Calendar create a geometric engine. Okay, in 1965, Robinson completed the algorithm of logical reasoning. What happened is around 1969, okay, there is one book, I have the copy of it, called Perceptron. Okay. That book said that the neural network was wrong mathematically. And it is a major blow to AI. And for almost 10 years, there is no more funding in AI. So this is like the winter of AI, the first winter of AI. There is no funding because mathematically proven that the neural network is wrong. Why is wrong? Because even for a simple Boolean algebra of XOR, okay, it is exclusive OR, the neural network cannot solve this. So all the hype suddenly down. Okay. Until 1980s, then they start to found backpropagation. Okay. Meaning that the neural network before was only one cell. Now you can have it several cells on it. Then it easily solved what was said in IT in 1969 that neural network was wrong. Okay, so then booming again in 1980s, AI become an industry, and a neural network become popular again. Okay, in 1987, so AI become a science. So in 1990s, there is an emergence of intelligent agent. So artificial life is a kind of simulation of what is a human or artificial being in the software, actually environment, rather than the real robot. Okay. And recently, so in 2010, there is an advance in neural network, so called deep learning. So deep learning is actually synonym to neural network, okay, where the number of neurons is become deeper. So then again, it booms, become a lot of industries coming in right now. Okay. So there are several winters in AI that people start to doubt about the AI, whether it is actually go into the real promises. But of course, the problem is the media always hyper hype on what is AI. That's why the expectation goes beyond what is real. Okay, so learning from history. So let's go back to reality that there are many things that we can do and there are many things that we cannot still do. Okay. With the improvement of hardware called GPUs, okay, so then the number of data and the possibility of parallel analysis become possible, and now we have a much better understanding of AI compared to say 50 years ago. Okay, so there's one video that I highly recommend you to watch it. Okay, my question to you: is there any of you that watched this video? Can you raise your hand or tell me? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah. Oh, great. Yes. So at least one third of this class watch this video. So I highly recommend you to watch this video. Okay. In YouTube, it gives probably better explanation than me. Okay, on what is AI in brief, and also how to apply AI in business. Okay, Andrew Ng is one of the AI expert from Stanford, who is now working for Baidu in China. Okay, okay. Those who raised the hand, okay, is there anything that you impress you on that video you want to share to the rest of the participants here? Vincent, probably.
I think it is how it eases almost every aspect that is possible in human life, because the AI is, from what I remember, it is how 1 second of human thoughts that can be replaced by AI, any bits of AI. So for me, the interesting part is when he can pay in the mini market in his headquarters only with showing his face by the face recognition.
Yes. So
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
cool.
Amazon, I think Amazon is having several hundred store that you can go in and take anything from the store, like a supermarket, and go out, check out without any cashier. Okay. Amazon is doing it in the US right now already. Okay. So that means the job of cashier will be replaceable by AI, isn't it? Very soon.
Yep.
Okay. Shannon, you want to get your impression from the video? What did you learn?
I think it's quite amusing since they can predict the price of the housing by only knowing the input, the A1, like how big is the size and then how many bedrooms. Later, the natural network can come up with the how many family can fit in, and the catwalk, and then the other things is the educational condition there.
Right. So Andrew Ng gave an example of a neural network of several neurons, okay, that you have several input. For example, the size of the house, how many rooms, and so on. And in the middle, you will have certain neuron that actually explain the meaning of that. But in reality, this is only the way of his example. In reality, you don't really know what is inside of neural network. Okay? Okay. What you know is only the input and the output. Say the input is the family size, the size of the rooms, and so on. And the price is the output, for example. So what is inside the middle neuron that Andrew explaining there is only the example, but in reality, you don't really know. Okay. So, good. Anyone else want to say? Okay. Let's go to, what's the meaning of artificial intelligence is the new electricity? Is there anyone want to explain that? One that you watch.
I think it's because 100 years back ago, the electricity changed many of things. Like from the steam, we use electricity in the factory for the machine. And then and years in the future, AI will change it to just like electricity change things.
Right. Okay. So just like the electricity changed our life, I mean, the human civilization about 100 years ago. So he predicted that AI will be the one similar to electricity that changed our life the next 100 years. That's why you learn this course, and this is really great opportunity for you. Okay. Yes, anyone that raise hand, who's it? Anyone want to say something? Okay, so if not, let's go back to the slide. Okay. What happened is, for many years, okay, human thought that chess is the most difficult game. Okay. That AI cannot win over human until IBM create a Deep Blue that win over the world-class champion Garry Kasparov in '97, right? So then it became the moment that said, look, AI is now better than human, even the best human, in playing chess. Okay? And then they start to create new challenge. What is the other game that actually more difficult than chess? So they said the Chinese or Japanese Go is probably more difficult than chess. Okay? The number of permutation to compute this is like impossible for a computer to solve it. And AlphaGo is sponsored by Google. Is the first computer that beat the human professional, okay, in Go player. The first time, I think either the human or the AlphaGo win, and the second one is the other way around, and the third one AlphaGo win. Yeah, there is a movie about this, so you also in the Wikipedia you can check on your own. Okay. So what program they use? Of course, for game they use reinforcement learning. Okay. So my question to you: why AI was developed to beat human in playing games? what is the purpose? Why did develop AI to beat humans in playing games rather than real things, like solving science, for example? Is there any particular reason? What is your opinion? Anyone?
For me, it's for the immersion.
Explain it.
Okay, so let's say if you play a shooter game, and then the enemy is using an AI, right? And
Mhm.
if the AI is stupid, then we don't like to play the game because it's really easy, and yeah, the AI is stupid. But by making the AI harder and better, I mean smarter,
Mhm.
and we can really get attached into the game, like we are immersed into the game.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that would make the game better.
Okay, that means you are creating the AI to lure human into your game. Okay, what I mean here to beat human in playing games like the chess and the AlphaGo a while ago. So why the big companies like Google, like IBM, okay, spend a lot of money to create AI just to beat human in playing that chess game or Go game? What is the purpose?
For humans to keep learning from the mistake, because the AI, I think, always win.
I don't think so. Right now you are saying that like that, right? Because you feel defeated as a human being to AI.
Because computer makes it hard to have an error, where human can have human error.
Mm-hmm. So okay, this is nice discussion. So my next question is, what is human compared to machine in that case? If you make error and machine is better than you, are you replaceable by machine? And what is your role as a human being? Come on, you create AI, okay? You are human, right? You learn this course AI things, and then you create AI, and then eventually your creation will beat you, and you lose over it. So what's the point of creating something that will make you lose? That doesn't make sense.
By losing, we learn something.
By losing, you learn something, and then after you learn something,
Improve.
improve. So, but you still lose, or you eventually win over AI.
Okay, that end.
And anyone have different opinion? Come on.
I think it is a steps towards to solve a more complex problems.
Correct. Correct. So you see, game is very simple, meaning that the rules are clear, right? The rules are clear, and you can check also. That's why they started with creating the games, and by showing that the AI can win in very narrow, okay, very specific environment, which is like the games, then they want to show the advancement of the AI, right? But it doesn't mean that AI win over human. Only in that narrow game environment, yes. But it doesn't mean that we lose over AI in everything. Okay? Don't feel defeated, okay? So next is there any science thing that actually AI help? Okay, that's the next question, right? Yes, there is. Okay, so this is just one example. So Robin conjecture, so you can check the background and the Wikipedia on it. Okay, that actually it was conjecture and unproven by a lot of mathematicians. But in 1996, okay, so someone named William McCune creating an automatic theorem prover, and he proved that actually Robin's algebra in science, in mathematics, is actually the same as Boolean algebra. Okay, so the computer can prove it. Oh, look at this website. Can you open it? There is a link there. The first one is not correct, so I remove it. The second one is working. So show that. Is this the one? So you can see the live demo. Okay, that they can create an intelligent system to create a crossword. Okay, it creates a short crossword, something like this. Yeah, you can check the links there. That the AI is used to create a puzzle. Okay. Okay, this is what's not working. And the next slide, if you look, is about Jeopardy. So this is a game in TV show, okay, in 2011, I think. Okay. It showed that human, even the best human, lost over machine, okay, again, in Jeopardy game. So this is the game of cognitive, okay, general knowledge that practically you can search from Google. Okay. Again, IBM is the one that sponsored this. Alan Turing suggested one test, okay, and now we call it as Turing test. If a computer can be considered smart, okay, when there is a human interviewer that conversing with two, okay, unknown agent, okay. One agent is actually human, the other agent is computer. So say you have two rooms, okay, one is a computer, the other one is human. And now you are the judge. Okay? You converse with both sides, okay, human and computer, and you cannot distinguish which one is human, which one is the computer. Okay? When human cannot distinguish that you are conversing actually with machine, that is the time that computer pass the Turing test. Okay. So until now, not yet. Okay. So humans still can guess that this is actually a machine rather than computer. But there is, okay. You check the Lochner price here. Let's go to the website on that. So Lochner, oops, it's not working anymore. Oh, okay. Lochner price is no longer exists. Let me check. Oh, still there. So Lochner Prize is an annual competition in artificial intelligence. Okay. and it will give originally just $2,000 if you win the competition. Okay. And now it's probably quite big, like 25,000 or 100,000 if you win the competition. Okay. So this is the competition of chatbot practically. Okay. So the purpose is to develop AI that can pass the Turing test. Okay. This is a poem generator. The code is there. Let's go to this website, poetrygenerator.ninja. I have opened it. So when you click regular poem, okay. So every time you press anyway, so every time you press the regular poem there, you will see you get a new poem generated by computer, okay? And then there is a speech to read that poem for you. And this is an AI. Okay? So if you look at this, it's not bad, isn't it? The poem is really not that bad. And you can also check the code in this in GitHub. So what do you think? Now computer can create poem already. So they are artists. Any comment on this? Putu? Come on, you open your camera so that I can see you. Come on. Can you? Yes. Thank you. Open your camera, please. Right. So tell me your opinion. So there are certain AI that actually works and it's free. The code is there. You can just copy, isn't it? Okay. That creates certain things that you think as creative. Okay. Is there AI to create pantun in Indonesia? Not yet. Right.
Not yet, I think.
Not yet. So probably you will make it for your group project. Can you? So how do you do that? So you copy the code, the English one, okay? And you replace all the words, become Indonesian, right? So you just change the data, the program is there. Is it possible? Why not, right? So the way we do is to copy and improve, right? Or modify. Okay? Next. So you can also check this YouTube video for the face reenactment, meaning that now you can have an actor, okay, and a picture of, say, famous person. Then the actor will actually talk something as if they are, say, the President of the United States. So deepfake. is a fake video that actually pretending to be you. Okay. So this creating a kind of threat, okay? Because now AI can create a fake video footage and even the audio. Okay. You can blame somebody by creating AI. Okay. Say if you don't like your president here, then you create a video as if he is talking something, but actually he's not. Okay. And if you cannot prove it that this is actually a fake video, then it is a trouble, right? So right now, AI is also used in politics, okay, to create fake news, okay, to create propaganda. Because it's easier to create a bot than to hire people, isn't it? Because using bot, you can replicate and so on. So there will be war in AI, okay, between different countries. Okay. So you can create fake email, fake website just to steal information. This is if depending on how you do your morality or ethical things. Okay, AI is just tool similar to weapon, right? So if you do good things using AI, you get improvement. Okay? If you do bad things using AI, it will fool a lot of people. Okay? So again, this is very sophisticated weapon. Okay? So AI can become a threat or become something that you develop for humanity. Okay, yeah, these are the drone, for example. When you put AI with, for example, with a computer vision, okay, then you can kill somebody using drone. How do you do that? Okay. Say the drone have GPS and computer vision, okay, and I know your face from your Facebook. Okay, I copy your picture from your Facebook, and then I program it in the drone, and I know your location. Okay, then the drone have certain, say, gunpowder on it, and it will search the real target, which is you. So when you post your picture in the internet, you can be targeted. Right? So AI can be very dangerous when you put it in that context, isn't it? Okay. So, in fact, the next war will be using AI. Okay? Say a political leader, for example, if you don't like it, they will kill remotely. Okay, just using a simple robot. That probably even the person who create the robot or control the robot cannot control it anymore. Say there is a swarm robot that autonomous. Okay, once they launch, okay, nobody, even the one who make it, cannot control it anymore. It is possible? Yes, it is possible. Okay. At this point, I mean, this is not new things. Okay, it's like 10 years ago we already make it. Okay, so again, using fake image and fake video, you can also create propaganda. And for marketing, okay, so nowadays people giving you a lot of free things, right? Free software, free hardware. So eventually they will create, say, chatbot that actually free for you to use and become your companion, okay? Become your friend. Okay? when you already trust your chatbot very well, then they will start to give you suggestion. So if your chatbot knows you better than you yourself, and the chatbot give you suggestion on particular products, then probably you will believe it, isn't it? Because your chatbot become very good friend to you for many, many years already. Okay, so this is how we use AI, even for politics and business. So my question for discussion with you now is how to advise the regulator, for example, the government, and shape ethics to pursue the AI research that is ethical. So is there any opinion in this part? Anyone? Kanis?
That policy of ethics,
Hmm?
policy and ethics for this one.
Policy and ethics. How do you advise the government or regulator in this case?
For like AI research, maybe if maybe limiting automation of weapons, maybe automation of weapons, or maybe limiting no, not limiting, or maybe
Automation.
no question of creation of like, for example, the functional Android, you know, if it's possible, sir. I think that's because
Hmm.
you know, like Terminator movie, maybe like I don't know, 100 years from now, 200 years from now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how smart AI could be, but if it's possible to for AI to like evolve so much, it could be dangerous, right? Like Ultron in Avengers, or yeah, like Terminator. I think that's what I would advise.
So is there any other opinion? Anyone?
I think maybe regulators must like know what's their limits, right? Right. Yeah, maybe same like Spanish, yeah. Because like AI can also be dangerous if it will be used for maybe stopping crimes, because in stopping crimes maybe they did the thing in hard way too, right? And when they did the hard way, I think like the like the like the evil side of the people can also use the AI to take their revenge too, right? I think that similar with tennis, I think so.
Okay. So is there any regulation on AI in Indonesia?
Sorry, sir.
Is there any regulation? Is there any law related to AI in Indonesia? That's my question.
I think there should be.
There should, but
Yeah.
is there any?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I
Not
think
yet.
so. I mean, we use AI too in Indonesia. Some Google.
Yes. I mean, for the law, is there any law?
I don't know.
So if there is no law, then this is like a jungle, right? That means anyone can do AI to steal, to do unethical things. And they cannot be caught because there is no law, correct? This is the problem that you probably want to start to think about it. Yeah? Anyway, so what is AI? Okay. So there are many definitions of AI. So Winston in 1992 said AI is the study of computation that make it possible to perceive, to reason, to act. So this is very limited definition. Okay, so basically AI is just computation that make the software and the hardware can perceive, to reason, and to act. So Russell and Norvig, okay, created the book of artificial intelligence, so you can check. Okay, the AI is a branch of computer science concerned with making computer to behave like human. Okay. So it was coined by John McCarthy in 1956. Now, these are the other definition. So AI, okay, the behavior by a machine that, if performed by human being, would consider as intelligent. So it is also a study of how to make computer to do things at which, at the moment, people are better. Okay. And AI can be thought as a theory of how the human minds work. So by studying AI, we are actually studying about ourselves, right? Say by studying artificial intelligence, we are also studying our own mind and our brain, for example. So what is the goal of AI? The goal is actually to solve real-world problems, okay, and to explain a various sort of intelligence, the science will say like that, by determining which idea that representing the knowledge, using the knowledge, and assembling the knowledge. So we can say that the goal of AI is to make the machine smarter, okay, and to understand what is intelligent and how to make the machines more useful for us. Okay, so basically, in one word, AI means automation, right? So here are the major areas of AI, okay? So there is what is called expert system. So basically, expert system is a program, okay, that can answer your question, can converse with you and answer your question. Okay, how do the program answer your question? It's come from the real expert. So there is a knowledge base, okay, there's a database of knowledge that come from the real expert, say for example, doctor. Okay, so they interview the doctor with that question, and what is the answer of the doctor? They put it into a program, and then become an expert system. Okay. This is the next major area of AI is called natural language processing, so NLP. So the speech recognition, speech understanding is also in here. Okay, so like the chatbot is under the umbrella of NLP. Okay. The next major area of AI is robotic, meaning the real robot with the sensory device and mechatronics. Okay, and computer vision is like the eyes of the robot. Okay. And the speech recognition and natural language processing is like the mouth of the robot, right? And computer can also create intelligent computer aided instruction, okay, that can be used for tutoring, for example. One day, we are hoping that your children or your grandchildren probably will not have this kind of lecture that you have right now. Okay, so they will play with the AI, with the robot, and the robot will teach them as if it's in school. Okay. One application of AI is summarization of the news. Okay. With the expanding of human knowledge, okay, and the internet content, right? So the data that we can explore is becoming too much. Then what we need is actually the AI that can summarize it for us, right? So another example of AI application is language translation, like Google Translate. Okay, and neural computing is basically neural network. Genetic algorithm is another areas of technique of AI. And in the past decade, I think people start to create what is called intelligent software agent. Okay, so instead of just a program, now we create what is called agent. The agent will behave like human, okay, either in software or in the real hardware, like robot, and they are actually autonomous. Okay? Autonomous means once you program it, they can actually stay on its own, independently from you. Okay, and you want an example of autonomous software agent? I think I have one. Just again, okay, I will search for it. Simulation. Okay. Where did I put it? I do not have it. Or in artificial intelligence agent. I do not have it. Sorry, I did not remember where did I put it. Next time I will show you the example of intelligent agent where I have 5 agents, okay, of it's just simple game that they can actually play autonomously in playing soccer. Okay. Soccer. Anyway, okay, so and in transportation we have ITS, intelligent transportation systems, okay, that actually can connect the hardware and the software to regulate, to control the traffic system. Okay, in commercial products, okay, what can we do with AI that can be used for commercial product, for business? Is there any example that you can think of?
Promo.
Mm-hmm.
The promo that I get can be different from my friend, depend on what my wish list or the product that I usually buy.
Promotion, you mean?
Yeah, promotion.
Okay.
Discount coupons or
Discounted. Okay. Anyone else have another ideas?
Suggested product.
What is the suggested product that you have?
For example, I see so many laptops, and then in some e-commerce, it's suggested me to have this laptop or another laptop without at the first page.
Okay, so you want to create what is called recommendation system.
Yes.
Anyone else? Only two? Yeah, these are the examples that has been done. So say, for example, has been put into anti-lock breaking system. For example, the video camcorder can create an AI to create the video on its own. Okay. One day, the one that make movie is not a human being. Probably AI will create movie for you. There are many appliances that can have AI inside. Okay, become smarter. Okay, for example, poster, stove, and so on. So with IP5, okay, now each appliance can have an IP address.
One minute for cooling down terus kita nih 8 menit.
You want to say something?
Mau digorengin itu.
Apa?
I think the mic is bocor.
This is that. Okay, anyway. So data mining software is also one of the targeted AI. Okay, so I think 3 years ago, I was invited by the government of the Philippines to give training on AI. Okay, and I asked them why they give a very huge training. Okay, apparently there is a big need. Okay, in the Philippines, for example, one big industry is call center. Do you know what is call center? Anyone knows?
Yes.
Explain.
So yeah, at the older call centers, we call someone, we call, for example, McDonald's. So we call to order some foods. Yeah, that's far what I know about regular call centers, but
okay.
I think AI could replace it somehow in some ways.
Yes. So Philippines, India, they speak English, right? So one huge industry that actually creating a lot of money for them is call center. So people in Europe, people in US, say in Australia, they have very good service, and the business give a lot of good service to their customers, right? When the customer complain, okay, which is 24 hours, right? So when the customer call certain numbers, okay, to complain, okay, then the call center will handle that complaint. Okay. Or if someone order, for example, like the McDonald's, when someone order McDonald's, for example, then that order will be received by the call center. Then the call center is the one that distribute to the nearest McDonald's. Right. So this kind of work is actually can be replaced by a machine. Okay. Say one person in that work in call center receive, say, for example, minimum wages. How much is minimum wages in Surabaya right now?
Around 4 billion.
Around 4.5.
4.5. So 4.5 million, that's roughly $300. Is that correct? $300. Yes. So $300 per month. Okay. Using that 4.5 million or $300 per month, that person can actually pay for their families, right? Say, if 20% of your population are actually working in the call center, and that call center actually being replaced by a machine, you know how much is the cost of a call center machine? The $300 per month, right, for that call center person. So the machine, okay, if you buy the machine, probably will cost you only $3 or 300, say make it $30, which is 1/10 of one person. How about if the cost of one machine, okay, of the same amount of job is actually only $3, which is only 1% of the real cost. The question to you as a business people is, are you going to replace the human or not?
For me, I think I will replace most of the humans because
the
we can use it,
right?
We can use AI for some like basic frequently asked questions, right? Once it's the complex ones, then we can throw the question to a real person.
So as the business people, they want to lower the cost. If they don't want to do it, the other business will do it because of the competition. Then eventually they will lose.
Yes.
So in that case, naturally, I mean, by the law of the economy, human will be replaced gradually. Okay. So this is the real problem of AI right now. Okay, so here is the screen of what kind of job will be replaced by AI in the next 10 to 20 years. Can you see it? Okay, the slide is with you in Google Classroom, so you can also download that. So retail salesperson will be replaced, now is being replaced. Fast food and counter workers, okay? The labor, the material handler, okay? Assistant secretary, cashier, building cleaning workers, the drivers, office clerk, okay? Registered nurses, and so on. So look at the list of the job that eventually, okay, will be replaced by machine, including teachers. There. Okay. So construction labor probably will be replaced by machine as well. Then my question to you, what is the potential impact of AI to replace human workers? So what are you going to do about it? Come on, give me your opinion.
I think, in my opinion, if AI could replace, mostly the work that replaced was physical work, right? I mean, like being like cashier or being a call center. But then humans need to change their way of learning something, I think. For example, we cannot learn anymore about maybe some how to the etiquette for being a call center or something else. We just need to forget it and let the AI run it, and maybe learn something that the AI couldn't learn, I think.
So the job will be shifted, okay? New job will be created based on AI. But human need to adapt, need to adjust, need to relearn again, right? Because of the new technology, okay, they need to adapt with the themselves with the existence of the new technology. So this is hard to explain actually, especially to those who lost their job, isn't it? Especially those who work for many, many years in the same way of doing, right? So it's probably your time to reflect how we will explain this to them, okay? Especially when you work in AI. So the first thing they will ask is, will it replace my job? Okay. So they need to go out from their comfort zone, okay, because they need to relearn new things to adapt themselves, okay, as human being. As human being, we are adaptive to the environment, isn't it? And the new environment is we are going to go hand in hand with the AI. Okay. Okay. So next, does business have more focus to reduce the cost or actually more enthusiastic about the new opportunities? Probably both, right? So there is a new branch of AI called augmented intelligence. So what is this term about? This term is used to describe the practice of using AI actually to enhance human performance rather than replace human. Okay, so probably in the near future, you can see a lot of augmented intelligence. Okay. So the question is, can machine actually replace human? One machine can do the work of 50 ordinary men, so no machine can do the work of extraordinary men. So now, depending on what kind of human we are talking about, right? So the ordinary worker, yes. Okay. So that will make us think, okay, what is the role of human actually in the AI era, isn't it? Okay. If you are improve yourself with the knowledge that actually handling the AI, creating the AI, of course, the machine cannot replace you, right? Okay. But if you are putting yourself in the work that actually, you know, repetitive work, right? So doing the same thing again and again, then we ask question, is it actually human to do that kind of repetitive things? Isn't that machine can do better? Look at the factory right now, at this moment, right? So you can see thousands of humans still doing the same thing, isn't it? Exactly the same job, repetitively, very boring job. Then is it really human or inhuman to let the human to do that kind of job? It is really boring, right? Okay, so with the rise of AI, so a lot of people started to demonstrate and protest against the robot. Okay? So probably not yet in Indonesia, but once the AI started to replace their job, then they start to do this eventually. Okay. So then the next question is, are we replaceable by the robot? Okay? Is this a true evolution or not? That's a big question. Okay. Okay. I want you to create a group for your class project. I put the assignment there, right, in Google's Classroom. So you put your group name and the name and ID of the members of the group. Okay, and tell me what kind of AI project you want to develop. You give several alternatives. Okay. Can you do that?
Yeah, we can sir.
Yeah. Okay. So the next things I want to discuss with you is the beginning of pattern identification in AI. So this is slightly in the middle, okay? The first slide is like talking blah, blah, blah. This is a little bit down. Later on, we will go into more detail, okay? In this slide, second slide, you can see. Can you download this slide in Google Classroom so that you can follow? Okay. When you look at this, can you find any pattern? Anyone? This is just one dimension of data. Can you find any pattern? So one pattern that you can see is there are two classes, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yes, there are patterns. It is simple black and white dot, okay? And it is in one dimension. Now, how about this? Can you see any pattern?
Yes.
Oh, tell me.
The black one always on the up.
Correct. So now look at this bar. Okay. The axis here is A1, right? And actually this is the same data. A1 is one variables, okay, one features here. For example, the size or the price or whatever variable that you want to put here. Okay. And in the second one, now you have two variables. Okay. When you see in the one dimension here, you don't see the real pattern. The pattern is just a black and white dot. Okay. But when you see in two dimension here, then you can start to say, hey, the black one is above. Right? The X Yes, the existence of the second dimension. Okay, the existence of the second dimension actually help you to see the pattern clearer, isn't it?
Yes.
With A2. Okay. So actually, this is the same data as previous, but now in 2D. Okay. And then the next question is, okay, if I know the pattern, okay, and I put some threshold value here, then I can start to say that if the value of A2 is above that threshold, it must be black, right? If the value of A2, this A2 is whatever name of the variable, okay? If below the threshold, it must be white. Okay, this is the basic of AI, isn't it? You train the AI, okay, to find that threshold value H. And doing all things so that all these variables that you put into the data that you put, okay, the AI will find that threshold value H that eventually, you know, distinguish into pattern, okay, so that, look, if above that threshold is class 1 with this black, if lower than that threshold will be class 2 with this white. Of course, the black and white can be renamed, right? Say life and death can be put as buy and sell, isn't it? So the black and white can be replaced into something else. And not necessarily only two classes, black and white. You can have the, any classes, any category that you want, isn't it? So let's play a little bit. We have a problem 1 here. Now I have class A and class B. And these are the data from class A and class B. Okay, this is a bar chart with the 2 variables only, with this left bar and right bar. Can you see any pattern to distinguish class A from class B?
Yes.
Okay, tell me.
Yes.
So whenever the right bar is higher than the left one, it's going to be class A, and class B is going to be at the other way around.
Excellent, Nicholas. You can identify the pattern nicely. So, okay, you're saying that, hey, okay, this is class A or B, depending on the pattern of left and right of the bar chart, right? Oh, this is B. Okay. The rule is if left bar is smaller than the right bar, it is A, otherwise it is B. Nice. Oh, how about this one? Is there any pattern?
From
Yeah.
the class, the same height, but from the class B, it's the shape 1 and 2 different.
Different height. Okay. Okay. So you distinguish the rule. Okay, you create the rule. So the rule is if the 2 bars are equal size, then it is A. Otherwise, it is B, right? So this is A, if 7, 7. Hey, look at this value on the right. 7, 7 is not in the examples, isn't it? The example is 4, 5, 6, and 3 of class A. Correct?
Yes.
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 When we presented with you 7, 7, you said it is class A, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
How do you know it's class A? Based on the rule that you created, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly how the AI works. Okay, given the examples, AI will create the rules internally. And based on that rule, okay, you give a new example, it will tell you what is the class, A or B. Is it clear now? How about this one? Oh, this is hard one. So I have 6 here, left and right. And this is the example that we give you, class A and class B. Oh no. So what is this, A or B?
I think it's B.
I think it's B, sir.
Is it B, not A?
Because for all of A has not more than 10 in
Yeah.
total.
Okay, you
And
create the rule, right?
yes.
Yes. So yes, the rule is squaring. Yeah. So when starting to have a non-linear, is a little bit harder, isn't it? So if the square of the sum of the 2 bars is less than or equal 100, it is A, otherwise B. Wow. Let's then we ask, why did we spend so much time in this game? Because we want to show that almost all classification problem, we can see a geometric interpretation. In class A, when you put it in the 2-dimension, you can see this is the plot. Okay, this is the left bar, this is the right bar, and of course you can create a threshold, right? Which is the diagonal. So, and here, this is actually quite difficult problem, okay? Because, okay, if you put left bar and right bar, they are anywhere for class B, but for class A is only in the diagonal. Right? It's a little bit harder problem. How about class in the problem 3 a while ago? Oh, it's a quadratic, right? So the boundary, the threshold, is no longer a straight line. Okay, it's a function in this case of a quadratic. So whatever function it is, okay, there is some kind of threshold that, you know, threshold, now the threshold is not linear, but it's non-linear, okay? But there is a threshold, right? There's a boundary between one pattern and the other pattern, okay? Between class A and class B. Okay, let's make it another example. So this is called grasshopper, and this is called katidits. I don't know in Indonesian. What is this Indonesian of grasshopper? And what is katidits? So we have a collection of data, in this case, just 5 instances of katidits and 5 grasshopper here. So now you found a new one, new insect. This is unlabeled. The question to you is this katidid or grasshopper? Say, you face this kind of problem, so how are you going to solve it? Tell me. Any ideas?
Classification, sir.
Kanis, what did you say?
Classification.
How?
Maybe we make like certain conditions. Pictures.
What you have is only 5 katidids and 5 grasshopper. How are you going to make classification on it?
The shapes and sizes of the body parts.
Yeah. So if you want to make classification, okay, the first thing you do is to collect data, isn't it?
Yes.
Then you start to think, oh, what kind of data I can do given this kind of insects? What kind of data?
Feel like length of leg, wingspan, shape of head. Yes, sir. Or the tail.
Mhm. So now you start to go into the detail, okay, of their anatomy, probably, right? Probably the colors, right? So these are the common question, isn't it? So you define this is abdomen, this is thorax, this is the antenna, this is the wing, and so on, right? And then all of this, okay, the length of the leg, the diameter of the spiracle, and so on. So starting to measure it, okay? So this is the beginning of data science. This is the beginning of AI, okay? First is to decide the features, the variables, okay? If you want to create AI, okay, the first thing you need to do is to measure it. To measure, you need to tell the variables, right? The features. Right. It's up to you to decide. And these features actually depends on the domain, right? Say you are in domain of biology, right? So then you know the common features in biology better than if you are in engineering, isn't it? So
yes,
the domain expert still useful. So we work in the team. Say you are expert in AI, you don't work alone, right? So you still bring in the domain expert. Do you understand what I mean, the domain expert here? Meaning, what is the field that you are?
Yeah, the zoologist, one who, yeah.
Okay. So,
Expert.
say you are doing AI in psychology, right? Of course, you will bring in some psychologists, correct? So you are doing AI in physics, then you will bring physicists. So you are doing AI in politics, right? Then you will bring in politician, correct? That's the domain expert. So the domain expert job is actually to decide, okay, what is the features, what is the variables that they want to measure, and they can measure it. Okay? This is the first steps. Okay. After that, of course, you measure it, right? One by one. So this is the example. So let's say we measure only two variables here, abdomen length and antenna length. Okay, this is just an example. And now you know the class, right? The class insect is just two, it's grasshopper or katydid, isn't it? Then you create this kind of database, right? So this kind of database is called training database. Why? Because using this data, okay, so my collection name, let's name it my collection. So you want to predict, what do you want to predict? The class label. Yes, the class label with this grasshopper and katydid. And once you train this, what you will get? So you put this data into AI system, right?
Yes, sir.
So what you will get?
Like AI will measure based on our computation.
So you will get the rules, right? The one that we played a while ago. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The AI will creating the rule inside the AI, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Then how we will use the AI? Right. How we will use the AI is to predict, right? So we ask, but this insect down here on the left, is this katydid or grasshopper? Then we measure the same thing with the same variables, right? Say we have previously unseen instant, which is number 11 here, which is not in the data, right?
Right.
We measure it the same abdomen length, antenna length, which is the same dimension that we gather. And then the AI will tell you, Oh, this is the antenna length, this is the abdomen length. The AI will say, oh, this is, suppose I get a lot of data, it's supposed to be like this, right?
Yes.
And then the new one is actually there.
So it's got it.
Okay, what is that new one?
Sorry, sir.
It is.
Cartridge, yeah?
It is.
Yes. The new one is probably cartridge. Why you said it is cartridge?
Because it's area of here, the area of the
Because you create
square dot,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? You create an imaginary line there that a threshold is maybe in the middle of that data, and you will say this purple point is actually nearer to the cartridge than to the blue. Is that correct? Okay. That on imaginary line, so I will draw it here. So this is called a simple linear classification or linear LDA, linear discrimination analysis, LDA. Okay, so it proposed by a statistician Fisher in 1900. So its simple rule is just say if the previously unseen instant is above the line, then the class is candidate. Otherwise, it's grasshopper. So now you learn what is AI in a simple way. You see, you have data as your input, isn't it? Input and output. The output is the class. The input is your, what is that? The abdomen length, the antenna length, isn't it? Okay. And now the AI can do classification. Yeah. How about if we extend it instead of 2 dimensions, we extend it to 3 dimensions? What will happen? Well, the line now become a plane, right? Yes, it's mathematically more complicated, but still a linear. Okay. How about if it is n dimension? Well, you cannot draw it anymore, but you can still compute it using computer. So instead of a plane, now become hyperplane. Okay. So it is interesting to see what happened if, okay, in this example, if you don't have actually 3D dimension. If you look at in 3D, it is separated by a plane, which is a linear model. Okay. But if you put it in 2 dimensions, if we projected this data into 2 dimensions, okay, it is no longer linear. Okay. It is no longer linear. Look at the bottom here. Can you see that? When we said linear, okay, like line, a plane, or hyperplane, okay, that is linear in that dimension. Okay. But when we go into a lower dimension, it may be not linear, not a straight line anymore. Is there any question up to this point?
I got a question actually. So you mentioned that we were the one that add the variables. If we want to, for example, know if it grasshopper or not, can the AI add its own variable? So for example, the AI adds the number of feet that or others.
Well, if you allow it, it is possible to make the AI create certain variables. But then the question is how useful it is. Remember, when we bring the variables, you need to bring in the domain expert, isn't it? Well,
Yeah.
say, look, I don't need domain expert. I will just do a random thing that I will allow the AI to do, creating new variables for you. Well, it is possible. I mean, programmatically, it is not impossible, meaning you can do it. Okay, but at the same time, how useful it is, we don't know. How efficient it is, you don't know, right?
Yeah, it's more efficient to have an expert and tell which variable were the key, I think.
Correct. So, I mean, if you do a random guess like that, so the computational costs become very, very high. Okay, so in fact, what you want is actually reduce the dimension. Meaning, when I say dimension, mean variables. Okay, features. They are the same things.
Yeah.
I said variables, dimension, features, characteristics. The column of the table. They are actually talking about the variables of that things that you have in mind. Okay. Synonym. Dimension, features, variables. They are synonym. Okay. So now if you want to reduce the dimension, if you want to reduce the number of variables, that means you simplify things up to the minimum level. Okay. So by telling, look, I asked the computer to create their own dimension. Yes, you can, but computationally become very big, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yes. So look at it this way, okay? The slide is with you already, meaning you can read on your own. So it is our discussion that make our class become lively and you gain some knowledge of it. Okay, so please ask questions.
So, sir, for explain, so basically the idea is, let's just say, there is no expert.
Okay.
No, yeah, outside sources. So the idea is basically not have outside sources. You must increase the variable, yeah. Okay. And vice versa.
So you're saying is, what if I don't have expert?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you guess. So I give you the real problem in AI is actually determining the correct variables, the correct features. Okay. Say I have several years ago, okay, when I teach AI, okay, there is one group project, very simple. Students want to challenge themselves and they want to distinguish piano from guitar.
Okay.
They record piano and they record guitar. And then they want the AI to tell this is piano, this is guitar. As simple as that. Right? And they record, the data is there, and then they know that this is piano, this is guitar, so clear. Right? And they cannot do it. First time they cannot do it.
Of course.
Okay. Of course, you say, okay. Well, they learn music, you know, they learn music, okay, but they cannot do distinguishing this. And then they learn about image process, digital signal processing, they do this and that, but still they cannot do. They cannot distinguish between guitar and piano. Okay, they approach me back, that look, I've done a lot, and these are my variables. And I try a lot of different AI here. Okay? You know, there are many methods like in AI. So they try all these AI methods that they have, but they cannot get good result. Okay, so good result means 80%, but this is like maybe below 40% in accuracy, right? So how are we going to do this? This is the class project, yes, but they cannot do it. Then I said, look, did you try a moment, meaning the moment mean the average of this, or the second moment, which is the a variation of this. Did you try the third moment, like the skewness of the distribution? Did you try the fourth moment? So I suggested computing the feature that they have already, but we add additional analysis. For example, the moment. Okay? First moment is mean a central tendency, right? The second moment mean the variation, it's not a deviation. The third moment like the skewness. The fourth moment is like the how flat is the distribution of it. And they tried, okay? And apparently when they add the fourth moment, okay, the cortices, then it works. Okay, so again, the hard part in creating the AI is actually the job of domain expert, isn't it?
Right.
Right. It's not just creating AI per se, okay? You still need the real variables there. That actually can make distinguish, okay? Clearly distinguish. Otherwise, you get a lot of error. Your accuracy is not that good.
Right.
Okay, the right variables. Once you get the right variables, suddenly, boom, easy.
Right variables.
Okay.
Okay.
I answer your question. So bring in some good expert in that domain that you are going to make for your group project, and challenge yourself. Okay, you challenge yourself. I want to do this.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Next question. Okay, so I want you to test your statistic. You learn statistic, right?
Yeah, we did in
Okay.
semester 3 or 4.
Okay. So let me check your statistic. Okay. Okay. You know what is distribution?
This is
I think for A it's like left skewed distribution, B is
right.
normal, and C is like skewed.
Wow, super. So my question is this: which store is the most expensive? Okay.
I think it's C.
Mm.
Oh, wait.
Because A is finite.
Yeah. A tends to be on the lower price, like B is like, let's say it's average price, normal price.
Sir, which expensive do you mean?
The saying is, store A, B, and C have the same average.
Yeah, if you're asking which store has the most expensive things, I think it should be A.
Why?
Since the tail of A is for the right A. If gimana jelasin nih? If assuming that the three stores are having the same average of or arithmetic means, therefore the middle point of the middle point will be in the middle of graph B, while the mean will be somewhere in the left on A, right?
The left, yes, is
therefore this means that
side, right? Because of the tail.
Yes. Therefore this means that gimana ngomongnya ya? The middle point of B is farther left for A.
That's correct.
Well, and graph A and the store A has some prices that is far more expensive than store B.
Actually, what you need to see is not the location of the mean, isn't it? What you need to see, because this is a distribution, what you need to see is the area. Right? The area of the distribution on the left side of the mean and the right side of the mean, isn't it? right? It's not the position of the mean itself,
Oh, I see.
the area. So in that case, C, right?
Yes.
Right, because in C, the area is, the mean is a little bit on the left, meaning the area will become much bigger on the expensive side. Is that correct? When we calculate the probability, right, it represents the area of the distribution under the curve, not the location of the price, but the area. That's why we have probability distribution here. Okay, so this is to check your statistic. Yeah. Okay, next. So they have the same average yearly sales income. The question is ABC, Alex, Pop, Cherry, which salesperson actually have higher capability? Based on their distribution, okay, now you can see. What do you think? Alex? Anyone say A? Anyone say B? Or anyone say C? No answer at all? Come on. It's the same things as previous, isn't it? So what you will just, if you want to see, in this case, of course, A is lucky, right? B is industrious and C is smart. Why? In A, the tail is in the right. What does it mean? Probably, okay, Alex do a lot of small things, small sales, and just lucky one time, okay, big sales one time. Then the tail go to the right. Okay, B is industrial, so it's normal. Okay, C, what? A lot of good sales, just unluckily one time, okay, have small sales. So there is a tail there on the left side. So in terms of capability, okay, C is actually better. Cherry is actually better, right? But without doing the distribution, what you can see, they have the same because their average yearly sales is actually the same. Okay. Right? Any comment? Any comment or question? Okay, how about this? Between A and B, if both are normal distribution, they have the same variance but different mean. Which one have higher quality?
B.
Yes. Why? Why B?
Because if it's if we look at it like a little like if you have like a line below there and you fill with numbers, then it's you can see that was higher because
So
the left side plus number and the right side.
right. So B has a higher mean, right?
Yeah.
And they have the same variance. So in terms of precision, they are the same, but in terms of quality, B is better. Right. How about this? So again, they are both normal distribution. B is blue, A is red. Now they have the same mean. Okay, but different variance. So my question to you, okay, which one has higher quality, A or B?
For me, it's B, because for A example, the quality is, if I assume a number from 1 to 10, there's some products in 1, there's some products in 10 also. But for B, the product only range up from, for example, only from 4 to 6, but the average the same was 5.
Correct. Right. Correct. So excellent answer. Right. The narrower, okay, the narrower variance, the standard deviation, the smaller standard deviation, okay, meaning higher quality. Okay, look at McDonald's. What make it McDonald's? If you go to US, if you go to Singapore, you go to Arab Saudi, you go to Indonesia, they are all the same. Okay, the variance, yeah, there are variants, but small, right? So if you go to factory, okay, and you said it's a higher quality product, what's the meaning of high quality product? Is it higher mean or actually better precision? Right. So when we said quality is actually not just the mean, but actually about the precision. Okay, having that, my question to you, how about this? This is not normal distribution. The clue is they have equal mean, they have equal variance. Okay, which one have higher quality? Okay. In this case, you need to use median, not mean. Okay.
B, since the median will be higher.
The
median, yeah.
Median. The median is the middle. So which one, A or B? Oh, this is an exam question. You get the answer already anyway, right? So B, okay, the blue one will have the higher median and the mode, right? So in that case, B is actually higher quality than A. Okay, so I give you only qualitative here. I didn't even give you the actual numbers, right? But from the shape of the distribution, okay, you should be able to conclude something. That's my point. Okay, distribution matters. Not just the value of mean and variance, okay, but the distribution, the shape of distribution really matters so much. Okay, that's why I give example a while ago. Look, the kurtosis, which is the fourth moment, will make the difference between piano and the guitar, for example. Okay, because the shape of the distribution really matters. Okay. Oh, I love this. This is an education system. Okay, based on my experience, I teach in Japan, I teach in the US, I teach in Europe, I teach in Thailand, the Philippines, also Indonesia. So there are developing countries that I know, and I also know developed countries. Okay. So this is the student's ability. I plot it. Okay. The blue one is in the first world country, which is developed country. And the red one is actually in developing countries. So what can you say about this? Any opinion? In terms of the mean, okay, the student's ability from developed countries is actually higher. In terms of the variation, okay, is also lower. Okay, then I can say, if you base it on the previous slides, right? We can say that yes, the quality of education in developed countries is better. Okay, I mean education system wise. Okay, but if you look at the quality of the students, okay, if you look at the quality of the students, it's actually the other way around. You will see because of the variation, okay, students in developing countries are actually struggling more because the resources is not there, isn't it? Then they need to be very smart. Okay, so of course, look at the outstanding students in developing countries. Anywhere they go, okay, anywhere they go, they are always outstanding, isn't it? Yeah? But of course, on the left side, there are students who are very bad performance in developing countries. Then anywhere they go is also bad. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Right. So this is encouraging news for you. Okay, meaning that if you are good, okay, in Petra, for example, anywhere you go, you are always outstanding. Okay. Don't worry, because you are, oh, because I'm in Indonesia, I will be less than them. You are not. Actually, look at the curve. Okay, you are on the right side here. You are actually better than the students in developed countries because you struggle more. Okay. Okay, until here, is there any question about the distribution before the next topic? Comment, question, critics. Welcome.
So, sir. So, yeah, this is a curious question. If we put students, like, what if somehow students from developed countries switch places with us? I just wonder how the graph would change. It's a curious question.
Sometimes, okay, I know several good students in developed countries that I taught before. Okay, for example, in Japan, okay, or in the US, okay. They ask better question. They are very critical, and they're very good. Okay. But at the same time, one thing I think the weakness that I can see from them is because the resources are actually supporting them.
Yeah.
Okay, then they do better. But if there is lack of resources, suddenly you have no computer, suddenly you have no this gadget and that gadget, then suddenly they crumble. They don't know what to do. Okay? If there is no resources, suddenly they cannot do it. Okay? Why? Simply because they're not used to. Not because they are bad.
Right.
Right. So of course, probably if they learn in the same environment, they probably also become excellent as you. Okay? Because humans tend to adapt, right, to the new environment. So in the short term, they will crumble. Okay? Being off guard.
So maybe like get like somehow to the developed country, then our performance like on the higher level is because struggle more, but somehow given abundant resources. You know what I mean? Right.
Right. So
because we struggle more and suddenly given abundant resources. Right.
Your microphone is not that clear for me.
Oh, sorry. How about now?
Yes, this is better.
Okay. So yeah, I think like if somehow maybe we move more no, not to a developed country, for us be from not so developed country, perhaps we can gain higher youth than the students in developed countries, I think, because we struggle more and somehow we gain abundant resources.
Yes. So
Yeah, that's what I think.
when you face challenge, okay, when you face challenge, the more you face challenge, the stronger you are. Right? When you face a lot of problems, don't see that as a problems. You should see that as opportunity to make you stronger. That's the point. Correct?
Right. Right.
Because eventually you will enter a global competition, you know, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I know.
Correct? Okay. Oh, is the time. Okay, so next meeting we will discuss the data mining. Yeah? Right. So thank you for your attention today. Okay, so if you have any question, you can send a WhatsApp text to me. That's fine also. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Kanis, can you help to do the absency?
Huh? The absency.
Oh, who is the present or not present in our class? I think I send you the things on OBE, isn't it? Of Simpetra. Can you help to become the leader of the class? Okay, so see you next week. Okay, guys.
Oh yeah, you did.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.